Whew. Whew. New season of KCC. Let's get this bread. It's time to prep for week 1. Alright. Alright. Our first week opponent may be our good friend Fool, but I think we are going to have to kill him and his damn fish. Thoughts? Alright, I'm talking to inanimate objects. Fuck. Sup? How's it going? Last season was a bit of an interesting, thing. But we're back. Season 7 is here, and I am looking to start this season off right. If you haven't watched the draft analysis for this season, I'd highly recommend doing so. It explains a lot of our thought process going into the season, as well as explaining the nuances of the draft. But, as I stated, I really want to start this season strong. And we're starting off against one of the promoted coaches from last season's Miners division, Fool. And this draft looks like it can be pretty scary. So we're going to have to take this week slow, steady, and correctly. Now, Fool's draft consists of Marincess, Shark, Mermail, Adamantipator, Ghoti, Imperm, Kurikara, Lightning Storm, and Full Armored XCs. Imperm and Lightning Storms definitely scare me as out towards our boards and our combos, as well as Marincess being a very strong part of the draft format. Now, what concerns me is these other decks he's drafted. While Shark is a known quantity in draft format from last season, stuff like Mermail, Adamantipator, and Ghoti, there's not a lot to go off of. We can base a lot of our knowledge off of TCG, but that's only going to take us so far. So going in, we really only know how 2 of his possible 5 decks function, but for some reason I'm still feeling confident. Imperm as a staple hand trap does prevent us kind of from bringing DDD, and I'm a little shaky on bringing Raid Raptor into that. So that kind of dictates our main 3 decks this week. I'm very confident Lab can pull out a win, just because it's such a good deck versus this draft, especially with a lot of our really good staples this week. I mean, we have Diamond Dust as a really good blowout versus his entire draft. Starlight Road protects our back row from Lightning Storm if he sees it, and Simul Archfiends features as the new broken free pull card that everyone's going to be running every week, so Labrynth is definitely set for this week. As for Unchained and Ice Barrier this week, we have a lot of really good board breakers and hand traps to stop our opponent from really getting us stuck under the water. We have Santa Claus in those decks, and also Lava Golem in the Labrynth deck. Alpha returns from last season as a pretty good card to sort of deal with single pieces of interaction. And to round out our board breakers, we've got stuff like Dark Ruler, Swords of Concealing Light, which should really do a lot of work at breaking most of these boards. And lastly, you'll know them, you'll love them. Skullmeister and Ghost Runner feature as our hand traps. They just seem really, really good versus a draft like this. So, we've got a lot of prep under our belt. We're going to take it slow. We're going to take it steady. Not going to misplay. We're going to come out with a week 1 dub. So, see you in those games. We're starting off with Labrynth this week versus Ghoti. And this hand here is rough. No traps means we have to find our interaction another way, normal summoning Soul Sisters and popping it with Sharvara. We then have to use Aureus to summon the Lady in our hand, Link summoning Soul of Rage, and setting Escape. Fool will start with summoning White Sardine, then activates White Reincarnation to add, then activates the effect of the added White Sunfish to summon itself and the White Sardine Fool sent to the graveyard. He synchro summons Arion Pos, banishing a copy of Syx from his deck. He'll summon Syx from the banishment by banishing the White Sardine engrave, which adds a copy of Keef. From here, he summons the Keef, then Link summons Coral Anemone, trying to revive the White Sardine in his graveyard. This seems like the best spot to use Soul of Rage, linking with Coral Anemone to prevent its effect from resolving. Keef will try to remove the now Link summoned Soul of Anguish, so he Chain Escape, popping both it and Arion Pos. Then on a new Chain Link, Soul Sisters will summon itself, popping Keef, and Soul of Anguish will recover Our Lady Labrynth. Luckily, this keeps Fool off for the turn, allowing us to clean up the board on our following turn,
putting Fool onto a single card off the top of his deck. And unfortunately for us, the card on the top of his deck is the field spell, allowing him to combo off and kill us. Frustrating. Game 2 is a much better hand, starting with Ariana adding Big Welcome and setting 4, luckily with Starlight Road among them. Fool starts with a Reincarnation for Sunfish, then activates Sardine to summon. We'll shotgun Big Welcome to set up Lady Lab, but from here we let Fool waste a few resources with Sunfish before activating DDKC to flip the board. Unfortunately for Fool, a normal summon of Beatunaful Princess doesn't get him very far. We're able to whittle away at his resources on our following turn, going through the Unchained engine to set up Solar Rage through Skullmeister, and set a Diamond Dust for his following turn. No amount of engine this man has is pushing through all of this. They sure will try until we flip the Diamond Dust. Game 3 may be a tough one, but should be winnable if we don't see Dragite. He'll start with a He'll start with Fishborg Harpooner to summon the Keef in his hand, then summon Abyss Shark, then summon Lifeless Leafish to send Sardine. All of this to make an enemy, reviving Sardine to make it a tuner, then Ariane Pause really only setting up the banish from Keef. We'll start with Concealing Light, which will remove that interaction, then we'll summon Ariana to grab Big Welcome, summon Lady Lab from hand, and yeah, on his turn, Big Welcome will summon, then return Coup Clock to her hand, while Lady sets Diamond Dust from the deck, and even add Lady to this whole mess. We'll wait for an opportune time, then fire Diamond Dust to pop the board, then use Lovely to hand rip the dead Skullmeister from his hand. From here, we've got a chokehold on this game, but I guess he'll force us to find lethal this turn, which isn't much too difficult. Well, match 2, and we've loaded up Unchained into Mermail. The end board should be fine to push through with the non-engine we've opened, but surprisingly a Skullmeister on Dragoons is enough to end their turn, and with a hand like this, we're able to easily push through the Mourner in hand and find lethal really quick. Game 2 hand looks a little rough, but I still frankly don't know what Fool is trying to accomplish with this deck. He starts with Diva, summoning Neptibus, which sends Dragoons, allowing him to add both Heavy Infantry and Megalo. He'll summon Megalo, adding Abyss Scale of the Kraken, then makes Abyss Laetia, equips both scales, then passes. The summon of our Alpha gets Mournered, but we can still force out the Kraken negate by trying to activate the negated Alpha, then chase out the Mizuchi negate by activating the Wailing in our hand. From here, with no interaction, it's just a simple set of steps to lethal. Game 3, and after having both Lab and Unchained be called cringe, we decide to load up something fun with Ice Barrier. We've won the die roll, but we've bricked really badly. We have an inclination that he's playing Marincess, but we're not sure. We activate the 2 Prohibitions in hand, calling both Coral Anemone and Marincess Battle Ocean. Luckily, a normal summon of Mandarin confirms this, and luckily the Prohibitions are enough to stop him, allowing us to top deck Revealer on the next turn, which turns on the rest of the hand. We're able to pop his Great Bubble Reef and swing for lethal relatively quickly. Alright, Fool's going first this time, starting with Blue Tang, climbing through the Marincess combo, ending on Aqua Argonaut and Full Armored Xyz with Marincess Wave in hand. Luckily, I think this hand does it. We can Santa Claus the Argonaut, then use Salesman to prevent the Full Armored Xyz from equipping. With no interruption left, Medallion will add Revealer, summoning Hexa Spirit from deck. Unfortunately, our froggy friend gets Ghost Mournered here. Wait, we can link for Area, and use its effect to revive the Coral Anemone in Fool's grave, which can revive the Hexa Spirit in our graveyard, allowing us to send Mirror Mage, and Fool's seen enough.
It always feels nice to start off a season right. You know, top of the leaderboard, 1-0 plus 5, tied with only one other coach for first place. Feels really good, and I think our draft this season is definitely going to propel us to a better finish this season. Regardless, GG's to Fool. It was a very fun set, even if you think my decks are a little cringe. I had a lot of fun prepping and learning these decks, and I'm hoping to get better at them and apply that knowledge going into the bulk of the season. Our next opponent is John Paul of the Miami Marincess, who's the other minors promoted coach. I'm hoping not to get too overconfident going into that week, but coming off of a very strong week 1 win, I think we've got this. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Comment, rate, subscribe. It really helps that channel, and if you want to see more, you know where to look. Bye-bye!